Thank you, Pete. Would you please rise? We're going to go ahead and start with the opening. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Scout sign. Please join me in the Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout law. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. The outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate of the outdoors, and be conservation-minded. 2. Please be seated. All right. So tonight we're going to have a joint session. We have a special guest coming in and talk to the Scouts, BSA, and Cub Scouts, so we're excited to have that. More to come on that later. If you haven't signed in yet, please make sure you sign in. There's QR codes that are out there on the table. Please sign in because it'll send you an email with all the flyers that we have available digitally on that drive. It also helps keep us attendance so we can report those reports back to the council. So first is Brandon, if you want to come up and give us a quick announcement.
Hey, thank you very much. So I grabbed the wrong uniform out of the closet tonight. Colorblind, khaki, blue, same difference. No, so the Air Force uniform tonight is for a very specific reason. I'd like to talk to you all about the greatest crossover since the Jetsons met the Flintstones. We have an event coming up this October. It's called Scouts on the Air. It corresponds with Jamboree on the Air and Jamboree on the Internet. This October 21st, if you have Scouts BSA, the Radio Merit Badge is being offered at Camp Lazarus. The Radio Merit Badge is being taught by radio troops from the 179th Cyberspace Wing in Mansfield, Ohio. They're bringing down a full military radio kit, HF, VHF, UHF, and SATCOM. They are instructing to the Merit Badge book, and there will be at least 2 Merit Badge counselors there on site working the event as well. So this should be a lot of fun. They will, the scouts that participate will deploy at least 3 different antennas, including a 30-meter dipole, a whip, and they will build their own antenna, directional Yagi, out of garbage that they will solder together and then use it for radio direction finding, which means we're going to hide a beacon in the woods and they're going to have to find it. This is going to be pretty cool stuff. For me and my weekend job, Air National Guard, I've got radio troops. I've got 22, 25-year-old troops that are very excited to be building and presenting on the electromagnetic spectrum and how radio waves propagate around the Earth. So we got some really cool stuff that's coming up there. On the 21st, like I said, it's the Radio Merit Badge up at Lazarus. On the 22nd, that same unit is sticking around, and they're going to make their radios and a couple of ham operators as well available for any scout. This is Lion through Eagle that wants to come out and participate on Jamboree on the Air. So we'll hit the airwaves. The antennas and equipment that's coming out, we should have no problem hitting Europe. It's pretty good stuff, so it should be pretty cool. They're also going to use SATCOM, satellite communications, to deploy a laptop pool that will allow scouts to participate in Jamboree on the internet, Jody, Joda. So we're excited to offer that. Want you guys to be able to take that home and share that with your units. Just a real quick plug for another event, Bear Day Something Brewing. If you've got bears, October 28th, registration is open, and we do need adult help for this. This is outdoor cooking. It takes place up at Antrim Park in Columbus, kind of on the edge of Worthington there. Participating bears will earn bear picnic basket. And then finally, another crossover event here. You're right, Scouts and the military are not the same. They're not intended to be the same, but we do share a lot in common. We have organizations that emphasize values, traditions, and service to the country. And so we have an event called Howl of Duty. This is in its, I think, 4th year now. Howl of Duty takes place at Mott's Military Museum on November 12th. participating scouts. Wolves can earn council fire. Bears can earn pause for action. It's essentially a scavenger hunt through the museum. Museum admission is included when they register, and they're going to complete a bunch of different stations, including flag folding, flag retirement. They'll be exposed to all of the amazing history of the museum. Has anyone here attended Hall of Duty in the past? Okay. We have had scouts from as far away as Kentucky come to this event. This is a heck of an event. If you've got Cub Scouts, this is a great one. And we will always be looking for more adult help with this as well. So if there's any scouters that are interested, please reach out. If you're interested in any of this, Brandon, BRANDON .L, as in Lima, .boos, BOOS, @gmail.com. Give me a shout. Nick can get a hold of me. Most people in this room probably have it. But give me a shout if you're interested. We would love to have your scouts at these events, and I would love to have your scouters helping out at these events. We'll take good care of them, I promise. Any question on these 3 events?
Can you repeat your email address one more time?
Brandon, BRANDON .L .boos, BOOS, @gmail.com.
Thank you.
Just want to throw out, there's flyers for all 3 events out on the table outside too, just in case you want to promote it to other people, you can make copies.
Please share. Yeah, the first year we did Hall of Duty, we had 501 walk through the door. Yeah, Warren Motz, it's Motz Military Museum. Warren Motz showed up and looked at me. He goes, "Brandon, where did all these people come from?" I don't know. There were only 100 pre-reg. Okay. So, fun stuff coming. Please share with your scouts, share with your friends, share with your peers, share with your dog. We'd love to see everybody out. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, those 3 events, I wish I can be a scout again and go take my radio merit badge. Because Brandon called me. I mean, we spent almost 45 minutes on the phone, I swear, talking about the different events. And I was like, yep, that's the one. Like, I want to go do that. Sweet. Ben, you want to go next?
Yeah. All right. Hi, everybody. For those that don't know me, in case you don't, my name is Ben Mulkey. I'm an employee of the Simon Kitten Council. Filling in for Marty tonight because he's under the weather, and wanted to, I guess, start off by saying I'm here to talk about membership. Specifically, we have some materials in the back. We're still recruiting Cub Scouts and all Scouts for that matter, trying to make sure we grow scouting across the Simon Kitten Council. Wanted to also kind of put in a quick plug that we are experiencing some kind of an anomaly this year with recruiting that we're not used to. We actually have about 20% more recruitments happening this year than we were experienced in 2022, but we have 200 less scouts recruited. So what we're trying to figure out is why maybe people that are being recruited and coming to a sign-up night aren't signing up or haven't signed up yet for scouting. One of the reasons why we're getting so far is because the change of not having prorated fees. Some units are holding on to applications and not handing them in. They're waiting until maybe recharter time. I just wanted to put a plug in for handing applications in, asking people to actually register if they're going to join Scouts. Not only for just having kids register and actually have an ID number and getting advancement stuff, but also for safety. We just want to make sure kids, if they are registered, if they have an adult leader that's a part of the pack that's coming there with them as a lion parent or maybe even a den leader, whatever it might be, they're registered and have a background check and get the training they need. But want to just encourage everyone, if you are part of a pack or if you're a commissioner or you're part of a troop, when you're talking to packs that are around you, please have their kids register. It will make a huge difference in our ability to make sure they have insurance and all that other kind of stuff. The main thing is, though, is we just want to keep recruiting, want to keep getting kids in scouting. The biggest thing that I can tell you is every single one of our staff at the Simon Kitten Council is motivated to grow scouting. We need more kids in our program. We need more families in our program. It makes our communities better. It makes our families stronger. It makes our future much brighter. And it'll make your packs, troops, and crews, post ships all much stronger as well by having families involved and having future leaders and hopefully some adult leaders that come with them. So again, I got materials in the back on the table out there. So if you want to pick up some more stuff, we got posters and signs. You can use them all over town. Even if you put them out without a date of when people can join, they have beascout.org on there so someone can look it up. But just want to encourage everyone to keep recruiting scouts, and let's grow scouting in 2023. So thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Charles, do you want to go next? Is he in here still? No? OA? He must walk back out. All right. Let's see here. If I see him come back in, I'll grab him. Pete.
Okay, well, you heard from Brandon about upcoming events for the Bears and Wolves. There will be other events later on in the year for Tigers and Lions, so stay tuned for those. In Worthington, the 6 troops are having an event for AOLs and Weeblo Scouts, where they can meet the troops. That's on Sunday, October 15th, from 2 to 3:30 at Selby Park in Worthington. The troops will be there. They'll have some activities and invite all the interested Cubs, especially the AOLs and Weeblos, to come out and see what the troops are up to in Worthington. Thanks.
Larry? I was told that you had to be on the list, so.
My name's Larry Bueller. I'm on the District Awards Bank Committee, whatever you want to call it. We have a District Awards banquet right now scheduled for Sunday, March 24th. I wish I had an application to say, here it is, but I can get a electronic version of this. I'm going to post it on our district Facebook page. I'm also going to get a copy to the district communications person, and I want to get it out. And if you have people in your troop that you would like to nominate, just walk by. Give me a piece of paper with your email address on it, and I'll send you a copy. I just want to get this out, and because right now, I'll be honest with you, we have 4 nominations, and I know that we've got a lot more people in our district that do a lot for the Scouts that need to be nominated. But anyway, I'm here if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Charles?
Hello, my name is Charles McNerlin, and I'm Pilsita-Lunza chapter chief. I just wanted to talk to you guys about some of our upcoming Order of the Arrow dates that we have here. So this weekend, we're going to Fall Fellowship at Camp Lazarus, doing a lot of events. We're also doing our OA elections, Lost Chief, and everything like that. We are participating in the Creek Sweep, the whole lodges. The address is 4227 Broadway, Grove City. It's going to be on October 14th. That's just where we clean the Grove City creek and just pretty much just clean that out. I believe there's a breakfast at the start of that as well. Forum's one of our section events for the lodge. That's going to be at Camp Lazarus, November 4th through the 6th. We have our lodge leadership development and banquet at the council office, January 27th. Lodge leadership development is where numerous of the OA members get to learn some leadership development skills, and we have a banquet at the end for the people who held positions, people who are getting their visual honor, and people who are doing their visual nominations. And lastly, we have our spring fellowship at Camp Lazarus, which is going to be April 12th through the 14th. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Anybody else that
Sorry, I am a chance. I apologize.
you had the one chance?
I
Come
know,
on,
I'm sorry.
go on, Brett.
I forgot something. This is actually a big announcement, and I did tell her she was going to have this happen. But want to let everyone know that we also have hired our next district executive to fill Rich's big shoes. Shan Holscher, did I pronounce it right? Shannon, I don't know if you want to say a few things about yourself or not. Now I'm really putting you on the spot. But she's joining our team next Monday. So
Yeah, come on up.
yeah, come on up. So again, I did not know she was going to do this when she decided to attend tonight. So I apologize.
Hi everyone, I am Shannon. Some of you may know me as Shay, whatever. I'm super excited about joining Simon Kent Council. I do not come without experience. We actually moved from Washington, where I was a district associate with Pacific Harbor Council. I have kids in troops. I have kids in PAC. So I'm excited to work with everyone, and I can't wait to get started. So thank you.
Congratulations. Anybody else? Any other announcements I missed? Cool. So before we go on a couple things, we've talked about, hey, we want to talk about safety. Kind of like a safety moment. That's the reason why you see Ashley wearing a nice safety vest. And you got Eric over here wearing, like, we have a theme, this year. So something that I learned, so there's actually a safety camp checklist for troops and PACs. It's actually a 2-page document, which I didn't even know existed, and I've been around the block a little bit, not too long, I swear, but it's there, and there's a lot of things asking questions. You have the trained leaders, like there's a check-off list, you have all the medical forms, you have the permission slips, just as a fail-safe to actually have a very successful camp out. So I'd highly recommend checking it out. This full disclosure of the safety moment is actually on the Google Drive with the actual safety checklist that you can use with your unit. Highly recommend checking it out because you'll probably find something interesting that, I don't know if our unit did that in our last camp out. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. The other thing that the Roundtable Committee is pretty excited about, you may have seen this out on the table out there. There's all these different woggles and really cool things that are on here. So this year we're recognizing people for attendance, for showing up to Roundtable. So we started looking at, back in July, like how we're going to do it. We threw different ideas around, and then I scoured the internet to find the things I think to finally make it. And I think the committee agrees it's good. We're good, happy with it. So it's actually this right here on your left pocket. So what it is after 2 times you get the dangler that has the compass on it with RT on it for Roundtable, right? Pretty cool, right? Yeah, head spin, right? But then there's different awards for if you've been here for 4 months, if you've been here for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, or all of them, you'll get little woggles that go on your dangler. So each time we'll hand those out. And then there's 3 special ones across the top. One of them is Roundtable Committee, so anybody that helps out with Roundtable Committee, they have that on theirs. Another one is if you recruit somebody to come to Roundtable, let us know, and I'll give you the woggle. I got this cool thing here that has everything in it. Look at that. See, my wife's great. Nice. And then the last one's presenter. So if you show up and you present during our Roundtable, you'll get a presenter woggle as well. So with that, we actually have a couple people we want to recognize. I'll let you guys go first while I find out where I put my...
All right, so I don't think my 2 people are here, but I'll go first anyways. Rob Fan, is he here, hiding any place?
He's on vacation.
Oh, vacation. Too bad, Rob. I'm holding on to this. Then Luis Alicia from Troop 555. I did not see Luis here as well. Is he here? All right, you're getting 2 until next month. Oh, are they allowed to take him to people?
Yes. If you're a third-year unit, you can.
555, right?
I'll take Rob.
Awesome.
Signed off.
Nice.
All those things. Oh, no. I got it.
Woo!
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Okay, James Finley, Troop 553.
For 2 months? No?
No?
Anybody here from that unit?
553, anyone?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
And Katie Gearhart, who I've seen.
Yes.
2 months award from Troop 71.
Nice.
I will get your recruiter one. Awesome. I could do instant gratification.
Nice.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Elizabeth Wiley. from Pack 169.
Beth? Yeah.
Okay.
Beth Wiley?
Yeah. Okay. So Eric Henry from Troop 672.
Oh, that's okay. Do you guys? Dave?
Dave
Well,
can take it.
yeah, I can give it to Dave.
Also, if you are online watching it, you can still register and say, hey, I attended, because you can still watch it later. The QR code's in the bottom left-hand corner of that screen if you can't be here. It's on Facebook in our group, so you can watch it there too if you need to or if you want to reference it. Then I have two more. Mary Takasik, she's not here. See, look, they come twice, and that was it.
If only we're told.
And then Patrick. Yes, that one. I was practicing it. I'm like, I am not going to, how do you say it? Piccinini. There you go. Piccinini, there's your 2-month one. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
problem.
Yep. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate it. We'll continue to keep updating our list. I'll make sure I put Katie as she already has her recruiter, so that way it doesn't all fill up with recruiters. I did great. I'll give you more. I think I have like 100 of those, so we're good. I'm very optimistic that we're going to have more people here.
That's awesome.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. So the next portion, so we're really excited to actually have a special speaker tonight. I'm going to let Martin introduce our guest speaker because this was his roundtable to kind of put together. This was his topic. He recruited a fantastic person, is what he told me. Very, unbelievable. You may know this person. So I really appreciate Martin getting this all lined up for us. So I'll let Martin go ahead and explain who the person is.
Okay, so obviously, Martin on the Roundtable Commission, so obviously we have these planning sessions. We came up with, let's do a really, really good session about disability and everything else. So at the time, my wife, who's obviously Lisa, right? So she was going through Wood Badge 23 too. So she was wondering what to do for a ticket. Sorry, 23-1. Sorry. Too many numbers, I know. Okay, so we came up with this idea about, she came up with this idea about disabilities. So it's like, yeah, so you should come to a round table and just like speak in front of a couple of people for a couple of minutes and say, yeah, I'm doing this really good ticket. So if anyone wants to come to talk to me about ideas, everything, I'd love to have them. Then it turned into, we need a speaker. So Lisa said, yeah, I'll do it, because basically this is her final item on the ticket. Oh, nice. So it's really good she's doing it. So it also makes me proud as well, because I took Wood Badge for 2 years in a row, asked participant and our staff, and it kind of caused some kind of arguments and such. But it basically went over her birthday. So she wanted...
Birthday.
Yeah, so...
Both times.
Both times. So she wanted to see what all the fun was about. So she kind of really embraced it afterwards, and it was so fun and interesting to see like her development from going, okay, I'm going to take it, to like, yes, I'm really up for it. So it's my pleasure to introduce my wife, Lisa, and she's going to talk about disabilities. So
We need to number people up.
yes, first we do.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I forgot something. Okay, so first, before we do this, we need to number off each side of the room. So can I have a volunteer? So on this side, we need to number off 1 through 4. Try and remember your numbers. This side, we're going to number off 1 through 5. It's relevant for later on.
2.
1, 2, 1,
3.
4, 3, 5, 4.
Am I allowed to have a number?
Yes.
1. She yelled at me. I'm not allowed to answer questions.
3.
Oh.
I was done quicker.
She knows me way too well. We hang out way too much. Okay. So anybody that was a number 2 on this side of the room, raise your hand. Okay. So you represent the 1 in 4 people in the United States that qualify to have a general disability. That's a huge number. And disabilities can be visible and invisible, and that's like where we're going to go with this. And all of the number 3s over here. You represent the 1 in 5 people in the United States that have suffered from some form of mental health issue this year. That's also a huge number. The pandemic, can we say, was terrible, and kids suffered a lot through all of this. So
I really wanted to make this my focus because not only do we have disabilities in our personal family, but I wanted everyone to feel heard and like they were not getting lost within Scouts. So now I have some visual aids. We don't talk about people with different abilities. We're going to talk about cartoon characters because they're great. Now, I am not a mental health professional. I do, however, have 22 years worth of experience as a paramedic in the emergency room and working at a summer camp with physically and mentally handicapped individuals. So, everything that we are talking about is factual and assuming that we can say what the particular disabilities are for each of these individuals. So, Tigger. He should be a pretty easy guess, right? Any ideas, anybody? ADHD. Yes, thank you. I mean, what about Eeyore? I mean, he's another obvious one. Depression. Absolutely. What about Piglet? He kind of flies under the radar, but he's really nervous. Anxiety, yeah. And I don't know if anybody has read the Winnie the Pooh books recently, but if you look in the books themselves, Owl also has a disability. Has anybody noticed his handwriting? He does. He has dyslexia. He writes his name in the original books as W-O-L. No. Fun fact. Who else? What about Winnie the Pooh? This could totally affect a Scout in some way, shape, or form. Yes, thank you. He has severe impulse control. He cannot stay away from the honey. What about, Rabbit. That's a little harder one. OCD, yes. So all of these guys kind of fall into the mental health and neurodivergent under that umbrella. But now we can have more fun and talk about this particular board, which is mental health. What about Elsa? She's got some hardcore mood swings. I mean, she could possibly be bipolar. I can't diagnose her, but I would say that she might. She's polar. True, yes! Ooh, what about Ariel from Little Mermaid? Yeah, she's got who's its and gizmos and what's its galore. Hoarding, yes! What about Calvin?
Schizophrenia?
Yes, he hears things and sees things that are not there. This one, what about poor... Okay. What about, oh gosh, what's his face? From...
Simba.
Thank you. What about Simba?
PTSD.
Yes. Why?
Dad died, right?
Yeah, he had trauma as a kid, as a little cub. I mean, the wicked stepmother. Narcissist. I mean, she's just a narcissist. So I have several other ones on this board. Some of them are twofers. I don't know if you can see them or not. But we've got two dwarves on here, or little people, as we would probably call them now. But one of them's dopey and one of them's sleepy. They have two disabilities, or it could be considered disabilities. Narcolepsy, and they both suffer from being a little person. And Dopey's mute. He has a speech impediment, I'm assuming, or we can only assume. Who else is a good one? Oh, can we talk about Pearl? Does anybody know Finding Nemo? Pearl, one of her tentacles is shorter than the other one. Sheldon. Do I think this is a disability? No, but it could obviously make someone uncomfortable. But he has a water intolerance. Wheezy from Toy Story. Asthma. So there's things that we can, oh, and probably one of the biggest ones that I think that we would be seeing right now is Tina from Bob's Burgers and Julia from Sesame Street. Autism, yes. So I love the fact that we have started embracing scouts that might have a different ability than us. We just have to embrace the fact that their brains might work just a little bit differently. And there's a way that we can do things, and it's to adapt. I want them to be able to be themselves, to be who they are in a safe way. So, let's go back to mental health. What are some of the signs and symptoms of depression in anyone? Lethargy. Mm-hmm.
Lack of interest.
Lack of interest. Outbursts in anger. What about little things? They're not sleeping as well. Their appetites have changed drastically. They're either yes, losing interest in things that they really cared about at one time. Not taking care of themselves. That's a big one. I mean, especially when you're thinking about teenagers, right? I mean, they're teenagers. But at the same time, if they're not taking care of themselves, I'm thinking that we might have to intervene. And just an easy way of doing that would just be to say, if you need to talk, I'm here for you. We're not all going to have a medical professional that is with us all the time, but we can all be parents and good leaders by providing an ear to just about anyone. They might be more comfortable talking to you than to their parent because they're embarrassed or they feel connected to their leaders in some way as being a mentor. There's one thing in teenagers that I always look for when I was working on the squad above adults, and that's giving away their prized possessions. That's a huge one for me, and it's not on any list that I've seen, but that's one of the big ones that I've seen for teenagers. Because what teenager wants to give away their prized possessions? There's obviously something more going on in their life. Whether it just be that they're down in the dumps or there's something going on at home that we need to check in with them on.
I find that on a lot of suicide prevention.
Yeah. Yep. When you do the 12 checkoffs, yeah. So when I did my presentation to 71, I asked the scouts what they felt that they could do as a scout to help their fellow scouts if they got someone that does have some sort of disability or different ability. And can anybody think of some of the stuff they came up with, just out of curiosity? Encouragement. One of them just said friendship, and I thought that was the cutest thing ever. I was like, because maybe that's exactly what they need. We talked about the fact that they could, before you choose a campsite, somebody might be able to go and scout it out. You know, if you do have somebody that has mobility issues or vision impairment, you know, can somebody go scout it out to make sure that it's a good place to go? I mean, that's something super easy that any of us can do. Or hiking the trail, you know, going ahead to make sure that there's no obstructions on the path to get to the campsite or to get to the latrines or whatever the case may be. There's so many little things that they can do to help. Even if it's like, hey, can I take some of the load off of your back? You know, because like Derek here's got an injury, you know, it might be nice if somebody took his tent or, you know, just something little, or just to walk in tandem with that person. Just the littlest things can make somebody with a visible or invisible disability feel special, different. Yeah.
I was reading 1926 Scoutmaster's handbook, and it talked about dealing with a gang of boys. And if you don't keep their hands is you keep their attention, you're gonna lose them.
Uh-huh.
So one thing, well, in January, February, we start doing these citizenship merit badges, which are boring on a good day.
Right.
And so we try to give them breaks or let them do something.
Yeah.
And the person that usually does it tries to add a little bit of fun to it instead of just the typical, not to knock down schools, but the typical schoolroom atmosphere.
Yeah. I think Scouts is great for kids with ADHD. I mean, you're getting them outside, you're getting them involved, they're mostly able to stay active. I mean, it's been great for our son. So, and myself, who, in case you haven't noticed, might have ADHD. So, I think that if everybody keeps in mind the little things that Scouts can do to help each other, as well as you can do just knowing your Scouts. I said this at the last meeting. I know that Cubbies are good because they've got their den leaders who know those Scouts pretty well. Once they go into BSA and Scouts, it's a little bit more, well, it's a lot more patrol-led, but that still doesn't mean that you can't know your Scouts. Because if you don't know those Scouts, you can't help if there's a time to intervene. Does anybody have any questions? Because we're going to play games. Yeah.
It's more of a comment. It's
Sure.
just when they're doing their patrol meeting and stuff, it doesn't hurt for an adult or a couple of adults go in and say, hey, how things going?
Agreed.
And question them and seeing how they're doing it, why'd you come up with this, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea, and give encouragement too at the same time, that they're working together to come up with a solution for whatever their meeting's over.
Yeah. Check-ins are always a big thumbs up for me. Yeah.
You find a lot of the Scouts, well, not a lot, but you find a good portion of the Scouts that have already been, that have had some of the behavioral issues or diagnosed on the spectrum, coming into, coming up from the Cub Scouts. It's not as bad there, but when we start putting on a more, requiring them to show more leadership and initiative, levels of frustration will increase dramatically for some of those kids.
Right.
And everything that goes wrong seems to magnify tenfold, 20-fold.
Right.
And becomes something that has to be dealt with on a more regular basis and a more hands-on approach by the adult leaders.
So part of the reason that I chose this ticket is I saw a need in our own family, as well as and heard some things from some other people, that when the Scouts were crossing over from Cubs to Scouts, they were feeling lost because they went from having all of this is what you're going to do. And when you're talking about neurodivergent individuals, a lot of them need a schedule. They want to know what we're doing. They want to know in advance. They don't do well with surprises. They don't do well with food changes. They don't do well. There are so many things that go along with this. And I see a lot of nodding going on because I'm sure that there's at least 10 people that you know that have some sort of sensory processing disorder and will only eat 15 things. It's a big struggle, especially with us, which is why I wanted to do this, because I don't want any Scout to feel lost. And I'm going to do my best to prevent that from happening.
So do you have any recommendations, like for when Cub Scouts cross over, like without like having to find it as you're going along? Like we give them surveys, like talent surveys, other stuff like that. Just trying to think how I can make this faster.
I think the best way is to approach each Scout differently, because if we use Callum, for example, if you say, what's wrong today and how can I help you? He's going to tell you. The best person to tell you how to help them is them. And just doing check-ins, and you can say, if I bring another leader along, can we do a quick check-in? Just make them feel safe, and they're going to tell you what's wrong. I promise.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So something that I'm facing, and similarly to your ticket, it is also similarly on my ticket to provide like my leaders and my scouts tools so that they can work together as peers, and so that leaders can help like foster and guide them to be able to encourage their own leadership. But we're facing two different sides. I have two sides of the same coin. Right? I have the neurodivergent side, and then I have a gifted side. So they are similar, yet they are miles apart from each other, and they learn differently.
Yeah.
So did you find in any of things that you were going through on how to accommodate the full length of that spectrum? Because like for me, I would think my son is gifted, right? So I automatically assume that those people, now mind you, that's my assumption, right?
Right.
We know what that does.
Yes.
But it allows me to have a basis for other adults or scouts that come and say, hey, I'm in like these honors classes, so my assumption is that they can process differently. But if they're all in the same patrol, because they're in the same grade and the same age groups or came together, they don't learn the same.
Right. That's where we can adapt. I mean, scouts can either have like what's it called, the equivalent of like the IEP for scouting?
There is IEP for scouting.
Yeah. I mean, there's a way we can do the IEP for scouting. I think giving them multiple options on how to tell you what's wrong or how to go about it would be key. I was talking to a couple of people at Green Bar about some different things, and they were like, yeah, some of our kids like to write down notes, and it's like anonymous, and then they can give it to us, and some of us want to set up conversations and do it one-on-one, and some of the kids just want an email form because they're very visual, and they just want a picture that tells me, this is what I'm doing today. I have 5 activities until we're having chicken fingers for lunch, and then 4 activities until we have pizza for dinner. Like, that's just the way that some things happen. And I'm okay adapting sometimes, not all the time, but not everybody is. Go ahead.
During the end of winter, first part of spring, there isn't one of the requirements for the Weevelos or Arrow of Lights to go visit a troop or troops to see what's going on. And when we find out when they're going to be coming over, we have our older scouts or any of our scouts work together to have different displays and things that we do, and have them explain to the kids what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is some of the things we do, and then we'll have some of the stuff here, like the citizenship merit badges, for example, and personal management. We might touch on that briefly, but just give them an introduction to what they can look forward to doing, and see what's going, and see how they respond to it.
Can I just segue into something? So we actually do have something kind of similar planned in one of the later schedules about kind of like recruiting crossover. So we could even touch on it even more then. But I think a lot of it is basically like have someone who advocates for that kid, the younger youth. I mean, obviously in the troop we're in, it's a big troop, so it's kind of broken up into smaller. There's like a couple of, one or two. We have at least one troop, so one patrol who's just for the kind of younger, the starting kids coming in. So obviously they can still get lost depending on how kind of good the PL is in the SPL, but it's just a case of adapting, working out what to do.
And that's the key to my whole ticket, is that not only do we expect them to adapt, but we need to adapt as well. And I know that that's hard because people are being mainstreamed, and there's all of these new diagnosis that falls under the spectrum umbrella, and that there's always something new to learn, but learning is great for everyone. Does everybody want to play games?
Let's play some games!
It might include chocolate.
You can do 3? There's 3 lots, 2 lots? How many games?
There's 3, but one of them's easy.
Okay, so we're going to do 3 lots of games where I'm going to take a group. You can basically, there's going to be no set order, so you can rotate however you want to, if you want to like see what's going on here. But I'm going to have the chocolate, and I'm going to be back in that room, somewhere there. But
I'm going to simulate sensory processing disorder with Orbeez. And we are going to learn how to draw pictures as someone with a vision impairment. Yay. Okay. And we can have a drawer.
Oh, I found one.
Try on something glasses.
And like
Okay.
dinosaur? Wolf?
Okay, we're gonna set it up over here. Read this.
It's got a tail.
Okay, I got mine.
PowerPoint, so it was like, I'm gonna get up there with some fun things and some facts, and then we're gonna simulate some different abilities. Yes, you got one. Okay.
I only guessed one and I got it right. So.
So with that apparatus on his face, and I'm trying to Barney.
Okay.
Like a hippo, and I'm like, he's like, no. I'm like,
You got some good ones, that one.
well, problem solver, consistently bad.
What's that game?
Yeah. Well, it's called Upside Down.
But this is, that's an.
Nothing's gonna bite you, right?
Because Michael made it to districts and.
Okay.
Everybody, the whole. And you do that, and you do it at home, because that's what they always do.
I'm trying to watch where I step. Always one in the crowd.
We do six mats. I didn't know that. Yeah, there were five mats set up for a section. All going at the same time. It's just, but the crowd.
We need Brady to.
Then you're in the consolation, so.
That was the last mayor batch he needs for
They'll take it off.
There we go.
What is that supposed to be?
Rate the word expert.
See the EX?
A rapper with the mitts on, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so you have a choice. So.
I get more chocolate.
And you were so close.
So close. I got it cut. Did that just re-roll? No, I just set it over there. Because it goes around in a circle.
Next.
Yeah, pick up the piece I cut. I see how it is.
Three.
Victor, you back in?
Too late.
Who has a bead? 6!
So, if you have attended a roundtable before, you know that we have a roundtable totem that travels and goes home with somebody, and then next time they bring it back. So last month, it was Matt that took it, and I remember seeing it, and Eric's like, I saw it, it's here. So, because last year we lost our totem, we never found it. So, like, now we have these little cool sheets, so when you take it, whoever takes it this time, it's going to fill out a sheet so we know who has it. It's kind of like, as a reminder, we can shoot you an email. So, Matt, do you want to come up? Certainly. And explain how you adorned the 2023-2024 roundtable totem? Again, safety theme, right? Safety. So we have a really cool hat.
It's super bright.
Nice.
Super bright, and it almost got taken to school a couple times.
Oh.
It attracts kids. I will say that. So it's definitely right up our alley.
Right.
So if none of you know who I am, I'm Matt Gott. I am the Cub Master for Pack 418 here in Hilliard. I adorned the totem with a little picture and some numbers. So on it, it has the number 14923. So what that means to me is I grew up in the land of 14ers. Anyone know where that is? No. Colorado. Colorado has, what is it, at least 14,000 foot 14er mountains. 9 is the pack that I started out in Tigers and went all the way through. And 23 is my old troop number, where I went from a tenderfoot all the way up to Eagle Scout. And so I put, accordingly, a picture of a Colorado mountain, and I put the up grandpa and the scout with it. One, to kind of tie in the scouts with all of that, but also just a little bit of meaning of growing up, my dad was always there for scouts. He was always doing the stuff even if he didn't want to. He was always sleeping in the back of the truck while the rest of us got tents, but making us set up the tents, right? But he was the first one up making us breakfast. He was the one doing the work with us. And also my grandpa. My grandpa didn't go on the campouts, but he was always, like at PAC meetings or award ceremonies, he was always the first one I could always see in the background. That he was just like, yeah, that's my grandson. So that was my kind of meaning of, as leaders and as scouts, maybe we should try and make sure that all of our scouts have some sort of connection with parents, or if they don't have good parents, because we don't know what they come from, maybe a leader or something that can give them a good role model. But that was my adornment.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. So now it goes to the highest bidder. No, is there a volunteer that would like to do it again? Again, it's a lot of fun. That's, believe it or not, like when I did this, I got the friendship flag when I did Roundtable with the Carwicks. And I was like, man, I guess I got to go again. And then that was it. So I've been there since. So would anybody like to take this home and adorn it and come back next month?
I'll do it.
Yes,
Nice.
Sir.
And come back next
Says
month.
someone else
Share that
is
last
here.
one.
Yeah.
Just snuck that in there.
Might as well.
You can fill that out.
Awesome. Good. That's right. That's the key. Right there.
Good, no awkward silence.
That was.
Because that's always terrible. So thanks again. It's something that we did a couple times before. Is there anybody here that would like to give, like, hey, this is what I took away from today's session? Like, just like, hey, this is what I learned today, or this is what I'm going to take back to my unit, or this is what I'm going to take back and give to my scouts in my unit. Nobody? Pete, there it is.
Just more awareness of, watching scouts and their diverse activities and trying to understand where they're coming from and what's going on. I was picturing one particularly in my mind as presentation was going on, and I think I will approach him differently in coming months.
Absolutely.
I have a new connection
New connection.
with new information.
Yes. Ben and I talked about it earlier. Where'd Ben go? Oh, he's back there. You're moving all the way in the back. Ben and I had a really good discussion that in his old unit, or old council, right, in Illinois. Yep. They actually put together a disability awareness team that would actually be dispatched to units. Wow. Hey, I had something, I have a question, I don't understand how to handle this, I really need some help. So he brought that up. I'm like, well, last year it was Mayor Bear, right? Meredith Kennedy came over and did it last year. Now we have Lisa, we have it. And he said they actually made specialized patches for those folks that were on that committee that you can identify them pretty quick and be like, cool, I have a question, I can pick them out of the group. So I took that away from Ben. I was like, ooh, that's a good one. Like, that's something that we definitely should look at.
Back in the office, see what we're going to talk about.
There you go.
Nice.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I've been involved in scouts for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And every boy that comes into my troop, each boy's different. The way they operate, the way they work, the way they do things.
Yeah.
So the way you're teaching them has to be different. You have to adapt. One way won't teach everybody. And if you adapt your teaching, and for the boys, you'll also keep them more interested. And they'll want to come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Patience.
Patience.
Patience. We have a couple of kids that borderline
they're in their own little space and their own time continuum sometimes. So let them kind of get through their tunnel. Have just a tad bit more patience before you get swift.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
A couple years ago, I had one of our scouts, older scouts, working on he has to demonstrate something or teach something to the younger scouts. And we had one scout, he's just right there paying complete total attention to what he was doing. The other one was the elusive butterfly flying all over the place. And then he'd ask him a question and stuff like that, and one would answer both good answers, it just slightly different. And so, and the other scout was getting frustrated with the butterfly going on. I said, listen to how he's answering it. He's answering correctly, it's just in different words. So you have two different learning styles, and you're gonna run into that as you get older, whether it's school or in workplace or college or wherever you end up going. And so you need to adjust and adapt to that.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, yes, sir.
I want to thank Lisa, right?
Yeah.
For coming out to our troop. I think that you opened up our scouts' eyes. I know because when I was on the camp out, having this, trying to lock out a lot of boys offer to help carry my stuff and set the tent up and stuff like that. So you did touch some of the boys.
That's awesome.
That's like the ripple effect of wood badge, huh? That's kind of crazy. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy how that works. Awesome. Imagine that. Wood badge magic. So awesome. Lisa, I can't thank you enough. I had a blast. I didn't do a lot of the things, but I took videos of it. So I'll put it all together in the video before I post it, people doing the different things. But fantastic job. Thank you very much. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. So round of applause. And you finished your wood badge ticket, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So before I go into the Scoutmaster's Minute, we have day hikes next month, which will be on November 2nd, so you can mark your calendars now. And make sure you do sign in, because I know Pete, I think you've been here more than one time, so make sure you sign in so I can recognize you to get you one of these things, right? So make sure you sign in, so that way we can make sure we get you the information that gets sent out from the Roundtable Committee. But it'll be day hikes. Martin, you're doing that one too?
No, that's me and Chris Dice.
Okay, no, I'm talking about for Cub Scouts.
Oh, Cub Scouts, sorry.
Day hikes?
Yeah, I think so. I've got chocolate too, so I'll bring it again.
Chocolate
nice.
day hikes. That's a winning combination. Scouts BSA is Eric.
It's really Chris.
And it's really Chris. If you didn't see, Chris was here earlier. Has anybody ever seen Chris Dice do his presentation for backpacking?
Yeah.
So I am going to give my troop, because they're going to Philmont in June, I'm going to tell the Scouts probably to come, because every time, this will be the third time he's been at Roundtable 3 years in a row of giving this presentation, and every time it's different, and every time I'm like, oh my gosh, like, didn't even realize that. So I would highly recommend being here. He's super passionate about it. He always pulls some tricks out of his backpack every time that, again, just amazes me. So highly recommend being here for Scout BSA, talking about how to pack for hikes. Sweet. So quick Scoutmaster minute. The only thing that really came to my mind when I knew that Lisa was going to do this is seek to understand. Can anybody understand like what I mean by that?
You want to try your hardest to understand what she is trying to express to the group.
Absolutely. So you're trying to seek to understand, what somebody's, how they're presenting something. You're trying to understand what a scout might be going through, but you're not going to know those things until you start having the conversation about these things that are up here. It's very important to make that connection with your scouts, regardless if they're in Cub Scouts or in Scouts BSA or Cruise, because that might be the person they come back to when they need something the most. You are that coach, you are that mentor, and you are that role model that scout might need in the future. So make sure you make yourself available, seek to understand your scouts, and seek to understand your other leaders in your unit, because they may also need you at one point. So thank you, everybody. Again, Lisa, thank you again. I had a blast tonight. We'll see you all back in November for our November roundtable. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Cool kids.